Welcome back. In this training video, we will explore the issues, the moves, and the adjustment transactions on the inventory form. So let's get started. The inventory form can be found on the inventory main menu, then in the inventory submenu, where the inventory menu icon can be selected in the functional menu. The form can also be accessed by typing INV in the menu code area of the FOURA navigator. We've integrated the Issues, Moves, and Adjustments buttons on the inventory form header so that it's easy and intuitive to use. In FOURA, it's easy to issue, move, and adjust items in and out of inventory. Keep in mind that you must have stock control permissions in order to process inventory transactions. Let's begin by doing an issue transaction. Using our test database, we're going to issue one box of green highlighters from our inventory to our test company's internal supplies account. So the first thing that we want to do is use the quick filter or filter bar to locate the item row that we want to issue. Then we want to verify that there's ample quantity to be issued and make a mental note of how many units are available before I continue with the transaction. Now that we're aware of how many boxes are in inventory, we can select the Issue button in the header. The next step is to verify that the transaction date is accurate or adjust it to the actual date of the transaction. Now we can select the internal supplies account of 4210. There is not a project or a cost center in this scenario, otherwise these could be selected here. Notes are always essential for inventory transactions, so we'll enter a note. Now we'll select the name of the person who authorized the issue and enter the quantity that we want to transact. If needed, we could change the unit of measure from box to either case or each for this item. Once that's done, we can select the Transact button. If the transaction was set up correctly, a FOURA message box will appear confirming the transaction was processed correctly. If there was an issue with the transaction, the FOURA message box would provide some guidance on how to resolve the issue so that you can correct and then proceed with the transaction. Now that we've selected the OK button, we can see that the inventory has been decremented, and we know that in FOURA, all of the affiliated financial transactions are recorded and ready for accounting to sweep up using the posting assistant. Now let's look at the Move transaction. The same initial process applies. Use the quick filter or filter bar to locate the items that you want to move. And for this tutorial, we're going to move 8 pencils out of quality control back to their stock location. Once the row is selected, we can select the Move button from the form header. This produces the inventory move form that we need to complete. So the next step is to verify that the transaction date or document date is accurate. Now we can select the new location for the items being moved. Now we can select who authorized the transaction and enter a note. Now we can enter the quantity to move and select the Transact button. Now we see that the quantity and the dollars have moved from the quality control location to the correct bin in the correct amounts. And finally, let's do an adjustment transaction. In our test database, we're going to adjust out 30,000 pieces of pencil lead. So we're going to select the rows that we intend to adjust and select the Adjust button in the inventory header. By now, this should be looking familiar. We need to verify that the document date is correct or make that adjustment now. Then we select the adjustment type or reason. This drop-down list has 11 choices, and there's a checkbox in the in and out columns to indicate whether the adjustment type is suitable for inbound or outbound adjustments. The build adjustment type would be for inventories that were impacted by light manufacturing builds. Counts are adjustments done through inventory spot counts. Credits are sales credits. Cycle adjustments are most commonly seen through cycle count forms and that process. Damage is for damaged goods. Expired is for expired products. Loss is for shop loss. Opening balance is used at the time that we transition to FOURA. Obsolete is for obsolete items. Theft is for stolen items. And WIP are items that are adjusted in the WIP account. Now we can select who authorizes the adjustment and enter a note. In the grid details, we need to enter the adjustment quantity. A positive number adds the amount and cost to the inventory account, whereas a negative value subtracts both quantity and cost from the inventory account. Once we have that entered, all we need to do is select the Transact button. We can see that the quantity has been transacted and the inventory balance has been adjusted correctly. And just like the other transactions, there is no additional accounting steps to take. This transaction has been recorded and is waiting for accounting to sweep up using the posting assistant. Well, that wraps up this tutorial. Please be sure to check out additional tutorials to learn more about FOURA's powerful features, processes, and tips. Thanks for watching.